Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. The annual school election will take place later this month, and Channel 8 has had two programs this past week to help keep residents informed. Tonight we'll have highlights from the 1998-99 school budget presentation, and we'll hear from the candidates running for the Board of Education. Also tonight, Judith Leblein interviews local author Russell Like about his brand new sci-fi book, After the Blue, which takes place in nearby Jamesburg, New Jersey, and also mentions the Brunswick Square Mall. This and more coming up, but first, here's a look at programming next week here on Channel 8. Start your week off with some exercise on Look Great, Feel Great, Monday morning at 10 a.m., followed by stories from the library at 10:30. Monday evening at 8 p.m., tune in for live coverage of the Township Council meeting. Tuesday evening, join host Phil Hill on Sports Talk. And at 7:30, a brand new program called Law on the Line, produced by the Middlesex County Bar Association, will look at women's pregnancy and work. Wednesday night at 7:30, it's For Art's Sake with Dolly Vasta and her guest Randy James of the Randy James Dance Works. That's followed by the Arts at 8 p.m. We'll be back next Thursday at 7 and 8 p.m. with another edition of This Week in East Brunswick, and at 8:30, we'll show the School Board Candidates Forum in its entirety. And be sure to check out the Channel 8 Community Bulletin Board for our complete schedule and for information in and around town.
That ain't the way that fun, no. Know that it's time for a cool change.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath.
Island girl, like I want you inside the world. It's sliding away. Beach baby, there is a sand from June. That's the way, I like it. That's the way, I like it. So happy together. Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby. Won't you take me wanna see cruise?
Call 390-6981. Crystal Springs, a summer of fun close to home.
The annual school election will take place on Tuesday, April 21st. Residents will vote on the Board of Education's proposed $75.3 million budget. If approved, the school budget will raise the tax rate from last year's $2.90 to $3 per $100 of assessed property value. That would translate into a $100 increase for a home assessed at $100,000. Superintendent of East Brunswick Public Schools, Dr. John Kopko, explained the proposed budget during a presentation on Channel 8 on March 26th.
It's designed to provide educational programs and services for the more than 7,800 students in the school district. As of January 31st, there were 297 students more than we had last year at the same date in January. The chart that we're about to show you illustrates the dramatic growth in enrollment during the last few years and the projected increase into the next century. We expect to have 7,928 students by next October, 8,301 students by October of 2002. This chart lists the teaching positions which are being added for increased enrollment. One of the 6 positions scheduled for grades 6 and 7 at Hammersholt Middle School will be a cycle teacher, and 5 will be house teachers. This will make it possible to have 5 houses in each grade level. These new positions will result in a reduction in class size from an average of more than 30 this year to an average of approximately 25 next year. A new media specialist and 2 new media center aides will make it possible to keep the Media Center at East Brunswick High School open in the evenings from Monday through Thursday. This will give students in grades 8 through 12 extra time to utilize the Media Center and the new computers, software, and other technological equipment being installed. Among the largest capital projects included in the proposed budget are the second phase of the electrical rewiring at East Brunswick High School and the replacement of the roof at Warnsdorfer Elementary School. The budget also supports continuing compliance with the requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act to make our facilities accessible to everyone. Energy management systems enable us to achieve cost-efficient heating in our schools, and the energy grant matching funds will be utilized for new lighting at both Frost and Warnsdorfer schools. New furniture and shelving also will be purchased for the various schools. Other capital projects are the expansion and resurfacing of the parking lot at Memorial School and East Brunswick High School, replacement of blacktop and concrete throughout the district, and installation of new student lockers at Churchill Junior High School. That's basically a summary of the major new initiatives in the budget. This next chart compares this year's budget with the tentative budget. Current expense includes funds for the daily operations of the schools. Capital outlay includes the funds for facilities improvements. Special schools refers to adult education and summer school. And debt service represents the payments for financing the construction that has taken place in the district during the past year. The increase is approximately $3.4 million. Special revenues from state and federal sources have been deducted to give a more accurate picture of the total increase. It is important to note that the proposed budget is $973,778 below the spending limit permitted by the state of New Jersey. However, because of the state funding formula, the largest source of revenue for our schools continues to be local taxes. As this chart illustrates, 18% comes from state aid, 2% is from sources such as federal aid, appropriated surplus and grants, and 80% comes from local taxes. East Brunswick is below the county average and ranks 11th out of the 23 in per pupil cost. Finally, this chart compares us with the highest, lowest, and average costs of the 209 districts in the state which have a kindergarten through 12th grade. East Brunswick ranks 118th in per pupil cost in this group. These comparisons, which come from the Cost of Education Index, published by the New Jersey School Boards Association, attest to the efficiency of our schools. We're the only district in the state and one of the few in the entire nation with 6 National Schools of Excellence, or Blue Ribbon schools. The excellent reputation of our schools is certainly a major factor in maintaining property values in the community, since many people buy homes here because of the schools.
Also during this year's school election, voters will be asked to elect candidates to the East Brunswick Board of Education. Here are the closing statements from each candidate as they appeared on the PTA President's Council School Board Candidates Forum on Channel 8, April 1st.
My pledge to the residents of East Brunswick is as follows: responsibility and accountability to the budget management process. I will be an advocate for cost-effective quality programming and evaluations of all budget allocations. Promote two-way communication by actively listening to views and concerns of our teachers, our students, and our administrators, and the residents of East Brunswick. If elected, I promise to do my part in promoting the standard of excellence of education for all our students and to be watchful that funding does not adversely affect the quality of life of East Brunswick's residents, both present and future. I am a believer that one person can move mountains, but they always need a little bit of help. And being a team player, and the Board of Ed is a team, it is also, being a team player, vital to the success of any undertaking. I have always been and always will remain a team player, but an independent thinker. I can bring a wealth of experience, fresh new ideas, dedication, and independent thinking to the Board of Education and to the children in our educational system. I know I will do an excellent job. Elect me and give me a chance.
Thank you, Mary. Charles? Again, I'd like to thank the PTA President's Council and Elaine and all the work that you do for having us here this evening and having the opportunity to speak to the citizens of East Brunswick. It's terribly important that those lines of communication remain open. Sometimes I'm criticized for being passionate about issues in education. The only thing I promise you, if you choose to vote for me on the 21st of April, is that I will be as passionate as ever and as vocal as I possibly can, as I have always been, for that matter, for the 30 years that I have worked in East Brunswick, for the betterment of our kids. I can't see, when I look around and I think about what other things could I be more passionate about, or what things could I care more about, and it always comes back to the same thing. And as the other members, other candidates have said this evening, we are here, and if we can't invest our time and energy into providing for our kids and our children, then I think we're all in trouble. So I pledge to you that I will continue to be passionate, to continue to work for each student, whether or not they be special ed or the so-called average student who seems to sometimes get left out of the mix. And at the same time, I am going to be as diligent as I possibly can and as vocal as I can that each one of those dollars be spent on what is good for those children. So thank you, and please come out and vote on the 21st. Get involved in the process. We need everybody in this community to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Holly?
It is my hope that watching tonight's forum and listening to all the candidates, that it will help you, the voter, in making your decision as to who will best serve the district. The board members you select should be those who possess the qualifications to make decisions that will affect the direction and future of our school district. Throughout the school year, we debate and decide on matters of policy, curriculum, instruction, discipline, and budget, decisions that will directly affect your children. I feel that I am qualified to make these decisions. I feel I share Charlie's passion in wanting to do what is right for the school and the community. I didn't say so earlier in our opening speeches, but I have dedicated the last 12 years of my life to the school system, first as a PTA president and later on as president of this PTA President's Council. I feel I have the qualifications, and I promise I will do everything in my power to continue the service that I have given these 3 years. Being on the Board of Ed is a full-time job. It's not just attending those Thursday night meetings. Unless you serve on the board, you have no idea of how much time and effort we put into this job. I think the current board is doing a great job, and we will continue to do so. I hope you will vote for me, Holly Howard, Line 1, on April 21st. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Jody?
Thanks. In closing, I'd like to thank the residents of East Brunswick for their continued support of the public schools. We wouldn't have been able to accomplish what we did these past 3 years without community support. I hope you all make time in the near future to go and see for yourselves what wonderful things are happening in our buildings. With all the negativity we are sometimes presented with, it's refreshing and inspiring to go into our schools and see students engaged in learning, teaching one another, working cooperatively, being guided by devoted staff, and growing as human beings. Finally, there is a movement afoot again in New Jersey to try and find a solution to the problem of how to fund public education. We all recognize there is an over-reliance on property taxes. As a board member, I will continue to work with and to urge legislators to find a fair solution to this problem and do the right thing for both the students and the taxpayers in New Jersey. Thank you, and please remember to come out on April 21st and get involved.
You can see the Candidates Forum rerun on Channel 8, April 9th at 8:30 p.m., April 11th at 12:30 p.m., April 16th at 8:30 p.m., and April 20th at 6:30 p.m. And remember to get out and vote on April 21st.
Look over yonder. What do you see? The sun is rising, most definitely. A new day is coming. Ooh, people are changing. Ain't it beautiful? Ooh, crystal blue persuasion. Better get ready. Gonna see the light. Love is.
An entire generation ago, New Jerseyans, people across the country, fled thinking that the world was over in War of the Worlds. That's right, New Jersey was invaded then, and you know what? New Jersey's about to be invaded again. Jamesburg, New Jersey, to be exact. And with me is Russell Like, author of After the Blue. Hi, Russell. How are you?
All right, yourself?
Fine, thank you. Now tell me a little bit about your book, After the Blue.
Well, it takes place about 100 years in the future, when Jamesburg, New Jersey is the largest city on Earth, with about...
That's going some, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's not because Jamesburg got any bigger, just because every place else got a lot smaller. When the book takes place, Jamesburg is the biggest city on Earth with about, I think I said 6,000 people in the book. That's because in the book, a few years from now, that is, you know, the early 21st century, these aliens, you can see them on the cover of the book, the Grumsbagians, I know it's a silly sounding name.
Four-armed creatures.
Right, four-armed, 7.5-foot tall, blue-haired creatures with big bulbous red noses.
Sounds like one of my blind dates.
Oh, well, we've all had experiences like that. So they discover Earth. They have perfected space travel, but they've never before encountered another intelligent race. But unfortunately for the human race, they carry a disease that's almost universally lethal to humans. And within a few weeks of their visit, most of the human race has succumbed to this virus. The Grumsbagians have since left, not knowing what they've caused. They're, a lot of them are bumbling. Only a few of them are intelligent enough to have developed space travel.
Now, I understand they try to undo what they've done, and they research a bit about life in the United States.
Right. Well, what they do after they leave and then come back and discover what they've caused, they feel great remorse. So they dig through whatever they can find in the way of videotapes or books or magazines and microfilm, and in a sort of haphazard manner begin trying to piece together what things used to be like on Earth.
I don't know which would be worse, watching videos or watching the evening news tapings. That might be even more frightening.
Well, I guess they probably would have looked at some of those too. So.
Now, why Jamesburg? Now, you're from East Brunswick originally.
I grew up in East Brunswick, right.
And you live in Middlesex County now?
Yeah, I live in Highland Park.
Okay.
So.
Why Jamesburg?
Well, I think, first of all, it's an interesting looking place. It's got a nice little downtown, and it's a little bit unique with the railroad tracks running down the middle, and it's got a good bakery.
Yeah, that's famous for that bakery. Does the bakery or any spots in Jamesburg appear in the book?
The lake is mentioned, and the lake, a lot of events happen near the lake, and Railroad Avenue is mentioned frequently, and a lot of events happen on Railroad Avenue. In fact, the Brunswick Square Mall in East Brunswick also appears in the book.
Yes, they go to the mall.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? When tourists visit a place, they go to the mall.
Exactly. But, no, actually...
Could they get a parking space, though?
Well, actually, I was speaking to someone at Walden Books at the Brunswick Square Mall about this, and she was saying, I noticed in your book that that they've turned the Brunswick Square Mall into an auto repair shop. That's what the people of Jamesburg end up using the remnant of the mall building for.
Now tell me, what readers, both science fiction fans and satire, or people interested in the environment, who were you thinking of as you wrote this?
General audience. I've actually had people read it who, I didn't expect to like any sort of science fiction tell me that they really liked it. So I think it's really should be looked at maybe more as a satire than as a science fiction book first and foremost.
Even more than the story in the book, Russell, what I like about this story is that when you had some problems getting it published,
Right.
you forged ahead, and I
Right.
love these American stories. You forged ahead and
Right.
started your own publishing company.
Right.
Fantastic. How did you find that experience?
Well, it's been, I don't know exactly what you know about my previous experience, but this book was picked up by another publisher out in Illinois. They gave me an advance and signed a contract, and then they just sat on it. And I think that was largely because the editor who was in charge of this project left halfway through. Everybody else had their own project, and they couldn't.
It kind of got lost.
It got lost, and I think that even happens at you know, the biggest New York publishers. This one out in Illinois has got about 40 books out, so they're, I guess, a mid-size,
So
small to
you
mid-size
said,
publisher. But
I'm going to do it myself.
yeah, it was frustrating, and because I didn't have any more control over it, and I bugged them enough, and they finally said, "Look, we don't know when we're going to get to this, so if you want." We've done a fair amount of work on it already. If you want, we'll let you out of your contract if you find somebody else who's interested in publishing it. And we'll give the new publisher all the work we've done so far, all the typesetting and layout work and all of that.
Fabulous.
And so I thought about it for a little while, and then I realized I'm going to go wait for somebody else again, and it'll be out of my control again.
Now, this
So-
is your first effort as a book. I know
Right.
you've done some other articles, but your
Right.
background is environmental science.
Yeah, partially. I have a master's in land use and environmental planning, and I have undergraduate degrees in natural science and economics.
More
So-
thoughts for more books?
Yeah, I have more ideas.
Terrific. Well, we wish you all the best. Now, there are ways that you can get the book. The
Oh,
book
yeah.
is After the Blue.
Yeah.
And tell the viewers how they can get the book.
Okay, well, it's at a number of area bookstores. It's at Borders Books and Music on Route 18 in East Brunswick, and I'll be doing a signing there. I think it's scheduled for May 5th. I would just check with Borders to make sure.
And a website?
It's on, you can buy it through Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com, and Walden Books in Brunswick Square Mall also is going to have me do a signing. I believe the date of that is sometime in mid to late April. I think it's April 18th. Again, I would check with that, but I know they're going to be stocking it also. And a number of other bookstores.
It sounds
will have
like
it,
great
so.
fun, and it's always nice to identify with a location in a
Right.
book. And Jamesburg, beware, because they're coming to get you. For East Brunswick Channel 8, I'm Judith Leblein.
There's no place like home, especially yours. No matter what type of castle you call home, you can keep it looking and running in royal fashion without leaving your hometown, because East Brunswick's got everything to make you feel right at home. East Brunswick's merchants can light up your life and brighten your walls with picture-perfect art. Color your world in just the right shade or pattern, drape your home in elegance, and make it bloom. Furnish any or every room. Your backyard too. Beautify a bedroom or create another. Let the sun shine in beautifully in just the amount you want, and even get you all decked out, because East Brunswick's home to everything your home needs or everything you've dreamed about. Whether it's that new gleaming kitchen or a showplace bathroom that showers you with compliments. A plush carpet under your feet, or the feel of a classic ceramic, or a rich hardwood floor on which to set your special table. If it makes your living more livable, you'll find it just steps away in East Brunswick. And when your castle needs a tune-up, you can keep your cool, or warm up to a cozy winter. Get a fix on your refrigerator or stove, and keep a leak-free roof over your head. Spruce up your garden, revitalize a favorite chair or sofa. Make your home sparkle, or secure it for your loved ones, so you can breathe a little easier. When something needs repair, or you need service right away, it feels good to know that help is close by. So for something bold, something old, for the little things that brighten our everyday lives, and the things that really keep the home fires burning, there's no place like home. When you need the products and services that make your home beautiful, comfortable, and run like clockwork, turn to your neighborhood merchant. Remember, when you support local business, you keep taxes down. Shopping in East Brunswick. It's got all the comforts of home. I'm Mayor Bill Neary.